Well, I think this is going to be a very important video, actually. I don't know how much it's going to get around. I mean, it's all dependent upon who knows what. But I'm probably going to tell you some words of wisdom here that is going to really enlighten you on a lot of things where, I don't know, let's look at Hillary Clinton. Now, I'm going to title this probably Hillary Clinton's Health and the BBB. And you're going to say, what the hell's the BBB? Well, it's an expression we used to always say about people that are like the professional types or the money types that are seeking clients that are big bucks. And, they always, it's almost like, the attorney sometimes is sometimes labeled an ambulance chaser. Well, sometimes, if you have a person that has high net worth, typically to get people around them, that's called the BBB, the Big Bucks BS, or Big Bucks Bullshit, to just put it plain and simple, okay? That's what we used to call them because you really weren't getting a lot of value for the dollar. But these were aggressive people that always look for somebody that's high net worth. They want to get around them and they want them as their client and they want to because they're getting paid for this deal. Now, this is the situation with Hillary Clinton's health too. I can almost guarantee you this. Everybody, I think, on the alternative media has seen this big fat guy walking around with this combo pen, kind of posing as a Secret Service agent in a way. And every time Hillary Clinton has one of her moments where she's kind of short circuiting or having a problem where she's staring like a doe into the headlights or something like a doe, a deer staring into the headlights, he might give her reassurance or give her an injection with the combo pen. I don't know what the hell's in that thing, but she's having some major health problems. The problem is with this is she's surrounded by the BBB, the Big Bucks BS, and that's like, the established money is always in the established medicine. Now, in my channel, I don't really totally knock all established medicine at all, really, to tell you the truth. I think there's a place for it. And I hate to even use that word established medicine because it was established medicine not that many years ago, like even in the I think it was the 1940s when they started making cannabis illegal due to the Stamp Tax Act. It was the medical profession that complained the loudest because they had cannabis in almost all their medicines. It's in other words, they were using nature quite a bit more from 1930 back and into the 1800s and all the way back to the time when medicine was founded. I mean, I got a lot of videos on a lot of different things. Now, with Hillary Clinton, obviously, she's being told this obliquely. Yeah, eat a healthy diet. And of course that goes in one ear and out the other, but that is the main thing that could probably help her more than anything. And of course, there's other things I have on my channel. I could probably, I talked about the vitamin C, some of the frequencies. I mean, there's a million things out there that you could probably help her. That, and I'm not just saying this, like, oh, I want to help her. I mean, really don't like her politically at all. I think she's pretty damn evil. But, the moral of the lesson is, I'm just telling you, this is what happens with people when they get in power. They get surrounded by a bunch of people just that are the BBB, the Big Bucks BS. They're looking for, they're around them strictly because these people got a lot of money and power, and they're looking for, a slice of that as a fee. So they don't get surrounded by the best people. That's typically where the wealthy get the big downfall. It's I could give you an example of my cousin up in Maine. She would have been dead 4 years ago, 4 years ago, if she listened to, the next doctor's advice was to cut out more body parts due to cancer. And she says, no way. She went over to the Penobscot Indians, which are the indigenous Native American peoples of Maine, the state of Maine, and she was using the Indian teas like the chaga tea and some of her Indian herbs. Oh, her cancer's gone. It's gone 4 years ago. She should have been dead 4 years ago. If she'd done that, she would have been, she would have been actually healthier a long time ago and saved herself an immense amount of money with medical bills. Now, one of the things like Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton, I probably, as a person, I could probably like, but, he doesn't really, he's quite obvious he's all out for number one, but he does put on the act where he's very personable. He's got a good personality. I know what people are thinking that are conservative, but you gotta admit the guy's got a personality. He does. I know he doesn't give a to give a damn about nobody, but he does have a personality. But he's smart enough to be on a vegan diet. I think if he wasn't on a vegan diet with all the women he was running around with, he probably would have had 12 heart attacks by now or something, or died of some kind of disease or something a long time ago. The vegan diet is actually one of the most powerful things you can do for the body, and it's a highly anti-cancerous too. Bill's in much better health than Hillary. There's no doubt about it. Now, I don't know why she's not on a vegan diet, and I'm not just ruining. I'm not telling you something here that I'm pro-Clinton. I'm not pro-Clinton, okay? I never voted for these people. Been highly critical of them, but I'm just pointing out pointing out something that's very obvious. You see how you can have all this money, power, and wealth and not see the most simple things that are the most important. And a lot of it is because you're surrounded by the BBB or BBBS, Big Bucks BS. People that are always seeking you as their client so they can tell you something. It's almost like, how did Apple, with the accounting people they got involved with, they told them to do the double Irish, now they got to pay $14 billion in taxes. You know what I'm saying, right? It's pretty much, it all comes home to roost. Sometimes the simplest things are the strongest. And it's amazing that these people don't get it. Now, the other thing is, I could tell you, just as a sideline here, where the Clintons are freaking really done. They're just too old. I mean, this is a picture back, I don't know when this was, probably in the 90s, when it was President Bill Clinton. And as, she was Mrs. Hillary Rodham Clinton, the wife of the president, the first lady. Well, that was a long time ago. I mean, if Hillary Clinton was probably a senator in her 30s, and then she was running for president, or whatever, in her 40s, and she's running for president 20 years ago, she would have a much better chance. I don't like her. I mean, I think she's evil. I know. I'm not saying politically, but I'm not saying I like her or anything, or I don't agree with anything she says politically. I understand what she's about. She's all in with the hip pocket of Wall Street, but she doesn't have a chance because her youth has totally faded. But besides her youth is faded, her vibrance and energy is like out the door, and it's because she's surrounded by. She's not going to be able to reverse her health between now and the election, and I think it's like if she ever even got it to be the presidency, if she ate raw vegan diet every day, there's too much pressure of the presidency that's just going to overwhelm that raw vegan diet, because stress is something whereby you need a lot of antioxidants to overcome. I mean, she probably need like injections of vitamin C every day of 200,000 milligrams besides the raw vegan diet, Lefosky coil and a multi-wave oscillator that was developed by Georges Kolakowski and everything else. And even then, I don't know, because he's pretty much too far gone. But Bill actually's got enough brains, to do what he needs to do to survive. And maybe that's partly because he's got this other ulterior motive in his. He wants to screw around as many young women as possible, and he wants to keep his stamina and virility up as much as possible. So he knows to eat a good diet, that's what it does. That's what it takes. And I'm sure that's part of what's going on in his little freaking political brain, which I'm sure is not a little political brain, but he's not stupid, okay? Now, if I'm sounding like I'm too favorable to the Clintons, I'm not, okay? I'm just telling you the reality of the situation. Now, something else, too. There's other things out there that actually counteract disease far more than you think. This is another thing that you'll never hear a doctor say this. I mean, I put a lot of videos out about the vitamin C, which is a hormone, intravenous vitamin C. They got stuff out there that was concoctions with garlic and apple cider vinegar and cloves and rosemary. I forgot, there's a whole bunch of different things that you mix together. A concoction that was developed 1,000 years ago that works better on staph infections than the best antibiotics that are offered in the hospitals even today. And they're not, and the microbes don't develop a resistance against this natural concoction. Now I'm going to show you something here. This is a map of the bubonic plague in Europe, right? So this was something really bad. But they got a thing out there, they used to call it thieves oil. It's essential oils. It's a combination of oils. I forgot what's in it. I think it's got frankincense and I don't know what, rosemary or something. I forgot. But we used to. They got the nickname for this concoction of thieves oil. I think it was 4 oils, 4 or 5 oils, essential oils. People that used to rob the bodies of the people as victims of the bubonic plague, they used to put this oil on them to ward off the disease from the people that died of the bubonic plague. Thus, it got the nickname thieves oil. Now, you don't hear about this. You'll never go in a hospital and get this stuff or anything. Never. And there's a lot of different qualities that are on the market that are actually sold in commercial venues, and not everything is actually of the same quality. But the better stuff is more money. But when you're talking about the Clintons, they got loads of money. You think they would use this stuff? No, they don't, because they don't know about it. Because they got the big fat doctor around them with the combo pen. You know, that guy's going to kill her, man. I'm telling you, man. I shouldn't laugh. Well, she's freaking done no matter what you do. Actually, I'm showing another picture here. Just as a little sideline, you know, the nursery rhyme, ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy. I don't know, round and round we go, and we all fall down or something like that, and we all fall down. In other words, they're all dead. That was all off the bubonic plague in Europe. You know, people just dropping dead like flies. That's how bad it was. But the thieves' oil worked against it. It worked. It was essential oils. People weren't stupid back then. If they had something like that today, you think they're gonna come out with bring out all the thieves' oil from the medical community? He's going, oh, here we go. You got all the thieves' oil you need. You're gonna be saved now. They're going to come up with some pharmaceutical crap that costs a lot of money that they could bill the government for, try to save the population. They'll probably only save 2% out of 100%. So, you know, that's the problem. That's the problem. When everything's geared around money, it's becomes the big bucks BS. That's what happens. Everybody's in there for the fight, get as much moolah as they possibly can. And, you know, if you're looking at health, really, let food be thy medicine. Let medicine be thy food. You know, father of all medicine actually is the one that's coined that phrase. It's an old phrase. It's true as all hell. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, eat 3 square meals a day and have a bath. You know what I mean? That's crap from they freaking get from the FDA or something. But, I mean, you probably really got to go mostly vegan. Mainly vegan. Maybe not 110%, but mainly vegan. That's probably more vegetables and more fruits by far, the majority of your diet. But if you're combining that with, say, you know, essential oils, you're combining that with special Indian herbs like in chaga teas and things like that, and you're combining that with, you know, maybe lemon juice, excuse me, eucalyptus, cinnamon, and cloves. Cloves is another powerful. Cinnamon's very powerful. Cinnamon, honey. Rosemary's very powerful. Yeah, always put rosemary on every damn thing. Lemon actually is very powerful. I'm probably going to get a lemon tree. I'm not sure about that, but I got kind of worried about the frost, so that might be going up pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, that's the problem. I mean, in succinctly, the most powerful, wealthy people get surrounded by the big BB, the big BBS, or the BBB. We used to just call them the BBB for short. The big bucks BS, the big bucks bullshit. If you want to just put, or the big bucks skata, as they say in Greece. And, you know, that's the problem. That's the problem. You know, and of course, the Clintons are working for people, too. You know, that's a joke and a half. I mean, you know, what did they get? Like $200 million since they got out of since Bill Clinton got out of the White House? You know, net worth, whatever, increased their net worth by $200 million. What product did they produce? Speeches. $200 million for hot air. But, you know, maybe I'm doing hot air right now, but I'm dropping you a few giant gems because a lot of times people without money, they don't realize how much power you really got and how little power some of these people with money don't have. See, this is one of the reasons when I worked for people with money way back, it wasn't like way back, they respected me more because I'd always tell them the truth. You get in trouble, but I tell them the truth. And, you know, I mean, I didn't get in trouble all the time. I mean, it was like sometimes they didn't want to hear the truth, you know. But, you know, it's like somebody's bullshitting them. I tell them, you know, I said, have it your way, Clyde. You know, whatever you think, you know. Maybe I'm wrong, so whatever. And usually I wasn't wrong though, because it turns out, it seems like to be a real person, you just can't be one of those people in that clique on the top, because most of the people in the clique on the top, they got there by crapping on other people. That's really what it is, and that's the Clintons, big time, man. That's pretty much anybody with money. But then they get victimized by the same garbage. They can't see the real truths most of the time, because they're surrounded by people that are always seeking favor from them. Because I mean, okay, the Clintons are seeking favor from people with billions of dollars, and maybe the Clintons. I don't know what the hell the Clintons got. I mean, maybe they got a lot more than 180 million, 200 million, whatever the hell they got. Maybe they got a lot more than that, but they're on a hook, though. They're on a hook for favors now that they got to return. They got to give a return on the investment of the people that gave them that money for their hot air speeches. Now, the thing is, though, it all works against each other. They lose the most basic truths. It's sick. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, it's sick as all hell the way things are. And people sometimes they look for the most glossy presentation there is to find the truth. I talk pretty working class. I know that, but I do on purpose a lot of times. Um, I'm fairly intelligent in the fields that I know. I'll put it that way. I'm not intelligent in everything, it's for sure. But in the fields that I kind of stick in, and that's could be kind of divergent. I'm fairly intelligent in those things, and it's common sense though that really counts more than anything, rather than knowing every little nitpick in detail. Because a lot of times, you get caught up in all the intricacies of something, and you just don't see the big picture, and that's really the problem with people with money. The other thing is too. I mean, you can also say, in like even with this political garbage going on with the Clintons, they are such specialists in politics per se. Like, they're weighing in their opponent and seeing how they can find a way to get over. I don't think I think Trump's going to win this election now. That's something else, but you know because he actually in reality he's pretty damn far ahead of the Clintons in the polls. But the thing is, people like that are in politics. Like they're so geared. This is another issue too, but it's almost like along the same lines. They're so geared into politics, like some of the successful politicians. They're so geared into politics that they don't really know anything about, military strategy, the economy, um, what's going on with, in the globe as far as how the resources are being managed or whatever the hell it is. If you're what's going on in the actual labor markets in the United States, what's going on with foreign diplomacy. They're very good at say politics, but they're so focused in on politics they don't even know how to do the job. They know how to get elected. They don't know how to do the job. They know how to freaking always put down the scandals and that type of stuff. That's pretty much the Clintons. They really don't know how to do this job as president. Actually, that's probably I just made a political message on this damn thing, but yeah, that's probably where Trump's going to be a lot better because hopefully the guy's legit. But I tell you the truth, I think the whole bottom's going to fall out of the economy right around or right before the election because we're on an 7 year cycle. That's another subject, but just to tell you that, and maybe that's not another subject because you're probably going to be thinking, what are you going to do for health care? What are you, if the bottom falls out of the economy? Sometime, well, look what the American Native peoples did. They got some really good stuff. I know people used to never go to doctors way back when, and a lot of times they lived a long life, and they lived a healthy life. It's a matter of just using nature for their food. I mean, if everybody had a garden and were growing it with regular horse manure or something like that, you'd be way better health than you'd be seeing a doctor all the time. And really, there's your medicine right there. But if you really want to get specialist in that type of things, yeah, you can go with the lemons or lemon oil. That's some powerful lemon oil, some powerful stuff. Cinnamon, cloves, another powerful thing. The special teas, some of the vitamins like the vitamin E, the vitamin D with K2, spirulina, rosemary, honey, natural honey, a lot of things like that. And it's like it'll do more good for you than having a health insurance policy that could pay millions of dollars of health care. Because really, what does that millions of dollars go to? The BBB, the Big Bucks BS. That's what happens. That's what happens. And actually, Bill Clinton is smart enough to know to go on the vegan diet. I got to give him credit for that. This guy, I probably like him, tell you the truth. I don't like his politics, and I know what he talks about with the Republicans. I don't like the Republicans' politics. Actually, the last guy I really liked as a politician was JFK, John F. Kennedy. I'm not too keen on any Republicans, but I know the deal with Bill Clinton. He's just playing a game with the globalists and the people. He doesn't give a damn. Everybody else could go to hell. That's really what he's thinking. But he does have a. He's kind of. He is a charismatic guy. I can tell you that right now. Doesn't have that. No. Nope. No. Not at all. Not at all. Getting a little political here, but. And the other thing is, they're a lot older than they used to be. That's for sure. That's another problem. But her biggest problem is she's got poor health, and she's getting even worse health because she's surrounded by conventional medicine that are the big bucks BS. That's her main problem. And even if she loses, which I think she is, and she retires, she's gonna be miserable because she can have all the medicine in the world. She ought to be listening. She ought to be listening to Bill, go on a vegan thing. But you know, she did so many rotten things to so many people. I really don't really care that what the hell happens to her, to tell you the truth, man. But in some ways, I would almost like to wonder. I'd almost wonder what could happen with Hillary as an experiment, if as a test to see what can actually be done with somebody that's in extremely poor health, and see them come all back all the way. Now, like I said, I don't really like her, but it's something like I would like to see her as a test that you could bring her back 100%. Not that she gets elected, though, that's for sure, because he's terrible, man. But, just as a test, they bring her all the way back. And I think that's possible. And then, that would be a learning experience for everybody else. That could be used for everybody else, because I think that is actually very much possible. But this video actually is extremely important. I don't know if you followed me on this or what my logic is, but a lot of times people just don't see. And it doesn't matter. They could have all the wealth in the world. They could be very, very smart. They could be very smart in investing, or no matter what the hell it is. They're in, maybe they're in oil markets or something. Maybe they're in shale oil. They know everything about shale oil. But they don't see, once they get up to a certain amount of money, they wind up getting surrounded by people that have maybe less money than them, but they're seeking high dollar clients. So that's what you call the BBB or BBBS, Big Bucks Bullshit. And all of them get victimized by this. That's the problem, man. That's the problem. So probably get way more information on my channel. I don't know if I'm going to be putting out. Well, there's a lot of other health videos I could be putting out, but I kind of like diverged from them recently for quite some time. But there's a lot of different subjects I can get on, but only so many hours in a day to get on with this stuff. But to me, this is not necessarily a health video, but more of a wisdom video. As this is like the problem of virtually everybody that has big bucks. They always get surrounded by the big bucks and BS. And in turn, when you're looking at the Clintons and who they're basically looking as their clients, which is, the ones that are behind Goldman Sachs and some of the biggest, well, it could be the Rockefellers or whatever, or maybe the Rothschilds or whatever. These people, the Clintons, are the BBBS for the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. And eventually they're going to figure that out, and you know what's going to happen with the Clintons. They're going to get flushed down the toilet. It just goes around, comes around. That's exactly how it goes, and it's something like the simplest things that people would it just bites them in the ass in the long run. People think they're going to get away from it, but it bites them in the ass in the long run, no matter what they do. And that's just how it is, man. So be it.